So Tucker Carlson got fired earlier this year from Fox News, and since then, he's been out there rebranding himself, acting like that he is some sort of anti-propaganda guy all of a sudden, acting like he's some sort of outlaw journalist against the system. He's some sort of voice of reason. Actually, what he's been doing in his attempt to rebrand himself is align himself with the absolute worst of humanity. Elon Musk has given him a platform, and Donald Trump says, yeah, I think I like Tucker. I think I might consider him as a running mate. He went from being fired from Fox News to the front runner of the Republican Party saying, yeah, I might consider him as a running mate, although he has no experience in government whatsoever, but neither did Trump, so what do they care? But Tucker Carlson has always pushed propaganda. That's what he made his living doing, and he did it for years. But for the most part, it was just a bunch of comedic bullshit propaganda. That, yeah, I realized a couple of people would be stupid enough to believe in it. I realized he could dupe somebody's memo into being afraid. But his whole take on testicle tanning and M&Ms and every other ridiculous culture war he fought was for the most part laughable. But now out here, while he's rebranding himself, he's starting to spread a more dangerous style of propaganda because he's buying into and pushing every conspiracy theory he can get his hands on. And just when you think that Tucker can't go any lower, you got to remember MAGA's got no gag reflex and they have no bottom. There's no bottom to their barrel at all. And just when you think he can't go lower, he comes out and he takes up and he defends Derek Chauvin, the officer who murdered George Floyd. And he spreads misinformation and conspiracy theories and claims that Derek didn't do it. It's been fact-checked. It's been proven that Tucker lied, but that won't matter in MAGA's world because to them, a fact check is just liberal censorship. That's just the evil left trying to take away their First Amendment rights. That's what they'll say, so it's not going to matter. Used to, he was talking about testicle tanning. Now he's spreading this type of dangerous propaganda, and he's got a microphone to do so, and there's people who will believe it. They already were believing it. They've already been saying this for a long time, and now they will say it louder because Tucker said it from a bigger microphone. I remember a time when I would watch Republicans debate Democrats. I remember watching George Bush and John Kerry. I remember watching that. I've voted Democrat in every election since I've been able to vote, and the first time I ever voted was in 2000. I voted for Al Gore. In every presidential election, I have always voted straight down the line on the Democratic side. I remember a time when I would watch someone like George Bush debate John Kerry, and I would say, yeah, I know he's full of shit. I know he's lying to me. Now, I'm not trying to give George W. Bush a pass here. I think sometimes we're too soft on the guy these days. I don't care how much candy he ate with Michelle Obama, how many paintings he showed off to Ellen. I don't care how many jokes he cracked alongside of Bill Clinton. He was a terrible president who should have been held accountable for the things that he did, but he got away. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. But even that guy had the decency to shut down conspiracy theories. Even that guy had the decency to pull the microphone away from people trying to spread that kind of crap. John McCain, I'm not here to speak ill of the dead, but if he was here today, I wouldn't vote for him. But even he had the decency to take the microphone away from the woman and say, no, ma'am, I'm not going to let you spew those conspiracy theories here. And now the Republican Party has full-blown embraced this stuff. It has become part of their brand. You have to believe in these things to be one of them. Well, it's one thing to fight all your ridiculous culture wars. I've laughed at them. I've wrote parody songs about them all year long. Ben Shapiro getting upset at the Barbie movie. That was hilarious. I'm sorry. Grown man going to a Barbie movie and taking notes. I had to poke fun at that. But there's no comedic song to be written out of this. There's no comedic song to be written out of an officer taking a man's life and then someone defending it. There's no jokes to be made. Because anybody with 1 ounce of compassion, 1 ounce of empathy, or any bit of heart or soul in them anywhere should have been able to look at what happened to George Floyd, and race should have been took off the table. Politics should have been took off the table. Religion should have been took off the table. Where this guy was born and raised, where he was in life, what he had done in his past, All those things should have been taken off the table, and everybody should have looked at it and said, my God, this is fucked up. And I think most people did say that at the start, until the right wing got a hold of it and started rebranding it and repackaging it and telling you more and telling you more and demonizing the victim. And they kept on until now. They're giving the guy a pass for it. They'll have people lined up to write him letters in prison. I mean, he was stabbed, 21 times? I'm sure he's probably got a mountain of get well cards. You know, I've watched every documentary known to man about serial killers. I've always been fascinated with it. And I've always been fascinated that Ted Bundy had women writing him letters while he was in prison. The Manson family all got conjugal visits and got married while he was there. Manson was married to a girl in her 20s when he passed away. And I used to think, wow, man, that is really whack. You know, that's really out there. But now the political party that my grandfathers were part of once upon a time now embraces the absolute lowest of the low and gives them a pass for it and tries to find a way to justify it and convinces other people that they should do the same. I used to wish all the time that both of my grandfathers could come back, and I wish they could sit here at this table with me and we could talk about things. I used to wish that all the time. I don't these days. I would really hate for either of my grandfathers to sit here and me have to explain to them what the Republican Party became. And I would especially hate to look over at the one and say, hey, yeah, all those burns you've got on your body and all those scars you earned over there, fighting against dictatorships, now people in your own hometown that you came back to is saying they're cool with the dictator. And they embrace the worst. And they give it a microphone. And they give it a platform. And they do so by bastardizing the First Amendment. I hope there's not another side to this madness. And I hope neither one of my grandfathers is looking down on any of this bullshit. But, hey, I'll be back in a few weeks with Tucker doing something lower than this. Because that's where we're at these days. I had people one time say to me, Brando, how do you come up with material? I mean, all you got to do is just keep your eyes open. You know, they asked Weird Al one time, they said, hey man, how you going to be able to write songs forever? He said, as long as people's making music, I can make a parody. As long as there's MAGA Republicans out there and this world is as screwed up as it is, old Brando will be busy till the day he dies.